Hey everyone, welcome back. Stuart here from Stuart's Tarantulas. Thanks for tuning in. Guys, today I'm just going to jump right into this video. I'm super excited. I got this tarantula recently. Let me just jump right into it and show you. She's right here. It is a sub-adult female Grammostola pulchra. Have a look at that, which is the Brazilian black. They're one of the best beginner spiders. I'm just keeping her in so you can have a good look at her. There she is. Hey, darling. You don't need to walk out. You can have a good look at her there. Look at those. Oopsie. Come on. So she's just a bit, wants to get out. But anyway, you can have a look at those beautiful black colors. She may be going into pre-molt. They were very, very slow growing tarantula. And this is a sub-adult female. I'm so excited I've got this. So let us jump right into the housing. So this spider I got in this tank here in front of me, which is a 25 by 30 by 25. So 30 by 25 by 25. Here it is here. If you have a look here, it's got ventilation slits along here and here. And then on the front closing lid, there's ventilation at the bottom as well. So I've already gone ahead and put in a layer of some stones at the bottom. I'm kind of doing a gravel, I should say, gravelly stones, if you can call it that, dry stones. The reason for that is I create like a drainage area where the tank doesn't get too moist, and it actually prevents mold. I found in my experience with all my other cages, other tarantula enclosures, I find that things don't mold up. And if you use the right substrate, and you don't if your substrate isn't too moist, you won't go wrong. So I'm gonna jump right in and do this cage up quickly for the spider, and I shall show you what it looks like. I just want to put some gloves on because some of the substrate in this mix has got a bit of some of the peat moss it might have some urticating hair in it. So I've just made up the whole mixture. It's of this spider's previous substrate, which was cocoa peat. And I've used my traditional mix, and I've mixed it all together with organic compost, which contains no fertilizers or any pesticides or anything harmful like that. So I'm just going to go and put in a layer so long of substrate along here. These tarantulas, the Grammostola pulchra, like I've mentioned, is one of the best, or not the best, beginner tarantulas on the market. They are super docile, and between the pulchra and between the pulchra peas, which is the Chaco goldeni, you cannot go wrong. So I'm just going to go in here and stick in a hide for her here. These are a terrestrial species that is ground living. They do like to burrow up or tunnel up their, I should say bulldoze actually is a better term for it. They like to bulldoze their cages. So I'm just trying to create a little hide here for her to sort of retreat into, if I can put it that way. So need a little bit more substrate in this enclosure. Just going to go ahead and put some more in there. I'm trying to anchor this. I'm trying to anchor this in, this hide in. I will turn the enclosure around to give you an idea of where I'm at the moment. If I was ET, I could work with long arms and work the other way around, but that's kind of the idea. I'm doing like that. So there's this nice area here, and there's a top level. I like for all my tarantulas, all my terrestrials, you actually create more space by recreating a second level. Sorry, I have to turn it around because I cannot stretch that far. Arms aren't made that long. Anyway, so I'm just compacting it down just to secure the hide, so it's all safe and nice for her. Maybe a little bit more substrate, I think, on the top tier. Put in a little bit more, and then we should be good to go. Let's just level that out. So like I said, I was just trying to secure this. Yeah, it's nice and secure now. The hide, I mean. Nice and compact. And I know she will probably go around and dig and burrow in other places. I know that with these spiders, they're notorious for doing that. My other Grammostola pulchra female has been doing that. I put in nice driftwood and stuff like that, and she's just like burrowed beneath it. So yeah, that's a bit irritating. Anyway, so far, there we go, people. There's the hide, nice big hide in there for her, and a nice walking area. So I've got a little bit of decor. I actually got this online. This is a fake plant and, how can I say, like a branch. It's actually used for reptiles, but I thought this would look nice. It's actually got these 2 suction cups. It's actually used for geckos that you get online on, I think it was Temu. I got it, or Sheen, one of the two, I can't remember. But anyway, they're pretty cool. I use them for my leopard geckos. So I thought, why not? I will try and use this in her enclosure. So I'm not going to put it too high in case it falls. So I'm just going to put it at about that level. It needs a bit of moisture. Let me just moisten this up. Some water on here. And let's hope it sticks now. There's a spray on it. There we go. So there's somewhere for her to climb. Yeah, the suction cups are holding now. Holding quite nicely, funny enough. Yeah, so that's quite cool. There's always a first for something, so that's pretty cool. And I've got this little planty looking thing here. I'm just gonna turn the cage sideways so you can see I'm just gonna stick that in right there. Bury that in there. And her water bowl is most important. I'm going to put right here near the door for maintenance. It's easy to clean and fill up and do the necessary. A little bit of decor with a little bit of cork bark sitting around here. Maybe put a piece up here. Yeah, just for, I don't know, just to break the look. I don't know. I'm going to put this in, something that came with her cage, but nah, I'll leave that out. I prefer the natural looking feel about it. Yeah. So there we go. What do you think of her setup? I think it's quite cool for now. I think that's all right for her for now. I'm quite happy with that. And one thing I need to do is to put in some leaf litter. I'm going to sprinkle in some leaf litter. Just gonna sprinkle that in here, crush it up a bit. Ah. A little bit more on the top here. So this species is a, it doesn't need high humidity. Look, doesn't mind a little bit of it being a little bit dry. I can keep my mature female on the dry side. What I'm doing here is I'm taking a few stones. I'm just going to add a little, stones I should say, it's like gravel. I'm just going to add a little bit of texture to it, you know, just to give it a little bit of a an effect of a natural effect, you know, like instead of just having plain peat all over the place and substrate, just to mix it up a bit. Let's get that out of here. The water dish. And there we go. Let me turn that around. And voila. What do you guys think? I think it's quite great. I think it's quite cool. I think it'll work quite nicely for this girl. I'm quite happy with that enclosure. I just want to get some water and I will be back in a jiffy. So, in with a watering can. Guys, with watering your spiders, okay, this enclosure is already got substrate. What I'm trying to demonstrate is, do you see how I overflowed the water dish? Okay, so my substrate, let's get this down. My substrate already is moist enough, so I don't want to moisten it up anymore. So what you want to achieve is simply put, when you fill up, you know, from a maintenance perspective, from your from your water bowls to you know, to create humidity within your enclosure's environment, what you can do is you actually overflow your water dish. So in other words, you fill your water dish up and you let it overflow. So sort of the front part of your tank where your water dish is not, I'm not saying that overflow it, that it's soggy, just overflow it so it overflows and makes the surrounding substrate moist. Not swampy, but just a bit moist. That creates the extra humidity that your tarantula would require. Most importantly, for any tarantula, internal hydration is more important than external hydration. People have this debate about molting. Molting it needs internal hydration. Never mind external hydration or humidity. Humidity helps, but trust me, humidity has a low percentage to do with molting. Internal hydration, I cannot go on that anymore. You have to ensure that your spiders are well hydrated internally. Not the cages environment. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about what you hear online and stuff like that. Too moist an enclosure, too much humidity can lead to your spider getting sick with a thing called DK syndrome, which you can actually look up online on Google, wherever. You can read up what DKS is about, and it is something that tarantulas can be prone to. You do not want DKS in your tarantula enclosures, or sorry, your tarantula enclosure, to any of your tarantulas. But that's another subject for another day. And in saying that, yeah, that's what I would follow in terms of ensuring your spiders' well-being and health. All right, so let me go ahead and put this. Sorry, I'm just moving that out the way of the substrate. Need some room here. So I'm going to go ahead. I'll turn the enclosure for you. I'm going to go ahead and rehouse her or house her in. Let me turn it around this way. And I will house her. I'll come around this side and we can watch a simple house. Look at that spider. Isn't she pretty? Isn't she an absolute beaut? She's an absolute beautiful tarantula. Grammostola pulchra, Brazilian black. She's around about 12, 13 centimeters long. So she's a young female, as you can see there. Yeah, you can have a good look at her there. She's an absolute beaut. So I'm going to take her from here, and it's not my conventional catch cup, but I'm going to persuade her in gently. There you can have a look. I'm just using a paintbrush with just a gentle touch. Oh, she's climbing up the sides, having a nice exploration. And she is in. There she goes into her new abode. So yeah, let's have a closer look at her. So you can see her in there. She's an absolute gorgeous spider. What do you guys think? What are your thoughts? Do you guys have any? I'll try and I'll take a picture or two of her as well. You can have a nice good look at her there. She's exploring her new territory. She's an absolute beauty. Yeah. All right. And so that is the enclosure as you see it. And let me close the door. She's housed. There we go. So guys, that was the Grammostola pulchra. I just had to film housing her. It's a very pretty spider to have in your collection. A must have for all beginners. Any tarantula keeper, it's a must have for any hobby. For any keeper to have in your collection. Whether you be a novice, experienced, it's always good to have a pulchra, Grammostola pulchra in your collection. An absolute staple in the hobby. One thing I must heed you on is they are very, very slow growing tarantulas. So if you get slings, can I put it this way? You can expect your sling to become an adult in like 15 years, 12, 15 years, if you're lucky. They're extremely slow growing. So if you can find females, that's perfect. Males, it's good to have a male as well, because males are slow growing too. So they're not super fast growing like all the other tarantula species, and they can grow and they can live quite a number of years. So there's nothing wrong with getting a male Grammostola pulchra. They are absolute beautiful spiders. And one of the spiders, funny enough, that is sought after in the South African tarantula market, because of their rarity, they aren't too common. People tend to hold on to them, and they're not readily available in the South African market. And for purposes of breeding, I do believe there is hopefully some breeding projects going on. So slings should hit the market, who knows when, in the next few months. I'm holding thumbs for that. Not by myself personally, but I know of breeders that are actively trying to breed the species up, because the South African hobby desperately needs them. So if slings hit the market, get yourself some slings. It's a many-year investment, yet you're gonna wait for your spider to grow. It must be one of the slowest growing spiders, I must tell you. But when they get to this size, I don't know her exact age, but from her size, I can tell you she must be about 4 or 5 years at least, of age, if not older. So my mature female I have got, she's almost double that size. So she must be hitting 12, 13 years of age. So they are absolute beautiful spiders, guys. I can't speak about them enough. So yeah, enough of me going on about the spiders. If you have any questions or have any comments about the Grammostola pulchra or another one I mentioned to you, get yourself a Grammostola pulchra peas. The Shaker Golden Knee is the best beginner tarantula. At least the pulchra peas is a lot quicker growing, and it's got those beautiful golden legs in its makeup. So that's the difference between the pulchra and the pulchra peas. The one's black and the other one's got like golden knees. They're both beautiful and perfect beginner tarantulas for anyone coming or wanting to come into the tarantula hobby. Just for purposes of your information, just for information, you're going to pay a premium for the pulchra because of its rarity. However, the pulchra peas is a lot more affordable. A lot more spiders available in the market, so they are a heck of a lot more affordable. I'm talking about the South African market, that is. So guys, thanks for watching. That'll do it for this video. If I can ask you to please like the video if you enjoyed it, drop me a comment. I will come back to you and I'll reply to all comments that you comment on. I'll reply back to you as soon as and when they come in. If you wouldn't mind sharing the video and subscribing to the channel, guys, I really appreciate it, and really appreciate the support. And yeah, let's just share the love of our tarantula hobby in South Africa and the beautiful tarantulas that we have. So that'll do it again. And as always, guys, love your tarantulas. I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.